welcome on in, everyone, to the Tuesday Twitch tune-in. Before we get into some games, obviously,
Exactly that,
the
Richie.
I suppose the biggest news in gaming today, and probably, I'd say, probably it's gonna be hard to top this one for a long time. But Xbox, or specifically Microsoft, have bought Activision Blizzard and King. Big news. I got the press release here, so I'll put it up on the screen.
They got Candy Crush.
Candy Crush Millie, big one,
Everyone pack up and go home.
Millie.
I can remember we were walking in Soho and King have got their headquarters. Are they still
They
there?
do. It's on
Wardour
Street, was it?
It's either on Wardour Street or Greek Street. I can't remember which. I think it's
on
Wardour. I think you're
the
right.
same one as Samsung.
Yeah, and basically I was just like, what, King, the guys that make the mobile games?
Yeah.
They basically got like massive like Candy Crush like icons in the window.
Yeah.
And I would be like, yeah, they make millions.
Yeah,
like,
Candy Crush is
billions
big.
Out of Candy Crush.
I
And
think
was like,
the last time I checked, I think it was like 2019. Candy Crush made just under 900 million. I know, just Candy Crush.
That's a lot of mums.
Just
playing
not
Candy
King
Crush.
and all the other mobile games they have. Just Candy Crush.
Just
900
Candy
mil. 900 mil. But to be fair, is this the biggest business takeover that's ever happened? I think in terms of like entertainment, not in terms of like businesses.
Bigger.
I'm sure in business it'd probably be bigger, but like in terms of like the entertainment industry, specifically the gaming. Previously, before that, it was Xbox buying Bethesda. I think it was 12. Was it 12 billion, something like that? I think it was 12. It was something crazy.
In terms of like money being thrown around, I think obviously like in gaming, definitely, I would think, if not, it's definitely up there. But like if we're talking like media and entertainment in general, something like, I don't know, Disney buying the Henson Company,
yes,
and also Marvel and everything else.
Yeah,
Disney owned.
didn't Disney buy Marvel for just it was a couple bill, wasn't it? It wasn't that much. And same with the Star Wars property. And MKBHD reminded me on Twitter earlier that in 2012 Facebook bought Instagram for $1 billion.
Oh, that's chops changed. Of course.
Oh, it's a bargain, isn't it? It's a bargain.
Chup change. It's not chup change.
Chump change.
Chump. Not chopper chups.
Chopper chop change.
It's chopper chups change.
Yo, you're going to get a chopper chop for that.
You got like 25p after you bought your chopper chop. And then of course, there's mergers.
Yes.
Like a lot of big entities are all owned by the same umbrella, like Paramount and Comedy Central and all those other places. They're all owned by Viacom, which then merged with CBS.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, it's just basically making one big multi-armed beast that controls everything.
Yeah.
You think Facebook's the problem? Should we be worried about Microsoft?
I mean, if we have a look on the screen here, you could just have a look and see some of the studios that they've acquired. A lot of the studios, though, have only been working on one game recently. They acquired Treyarch, Raven, High Moon, Beanox, Sledgehammer Games, Infinity Ward, Demonware, and Toys for Bob. I believe like 2/3 of those are work on Call of Duty titles.
What's Toys for Bob?
Toys for Bob, they did the last Crash Bandicoot game, Crash Bandicoot 4.
What a great name!
I know, what a great game. It was a great game.
Yeah, and obviously also great game.
Great game.
I'm just blown away by how much I like the name, to be honest.
Toys for Bob.
Like, yes.
Well, I did hear. I don't quote me on this, but I did hear there was rumblings of disappointment because obviously Crash Bandicoot 4 was really good. I don't think it sold as well as Activision wanted it to, but it was a very good game. And instead of them making a sequel, because they did the remaster of the Crash games 1 to 3.
Which were very good.
Which were good. And then they did the brand new game, which was really good. And instead of being like doing a Crash 5, instead, for the last year, I believe, they've been working on Call of Duty, which I don't think Toys for Bob wanted to do. But like, it happens a lot in gaming where
I've got news for you, Toys for Bob. I don't want you to be doing it either. Bloody God.
Well, it happened with Battlefield as well, and EA. EA put pretty much most of their studios are working on Battlefield to obviously tie things up. Obviously, because of the pandemic, people having to work from home, it's a lot harder to kind of make these big AAA titles. And so what EA did with Battlefield, they got Criterion, who you guys might know from like the Need for Speed and the Burnout series, and they were helping to finish Battlefield, as well as all some of the other kind of EA studios jumping on. And yeah, Toys for Bob was in a similar situation with Call of Duty. But yes, they've got this is the biggest gaming takeover, I believe, in a long time. We'll go through the press release real quickly. We won't like dwell on all of it for too long, but we'll get your thoughts as well in the chat, as well as, you know, we can like speculate what this means for gaming going forward, particularly exclusives for titles as well, because what's that gonna be? Have we seen the final Call of Duty for PlayStation consoles? Have we? Let's go forward. This is by Phil Spencer, CEO of Microsoft Gaming.
You guys know Phil, he's on everywhere.
Big old Philly. Creators of Call of Duty, Warcraft, Candy Crush, Tony Hawk, Diablo, Overwatch, Spyro, Hearthstone, Guitar Hero, Crash Bandicoot, StarCraft, and more join Team Xbox. Big opening headline. Big. Just reminds you, Guitar Hero, Mellie, is under Microsoft property now. Yo.
I used to love Guitar Hero.
Yeah.
I had slight tangent. I had Guitar Hero on the DS Lite. Where you had where instead of using the is it the Game Boy Advance slot? What was the slot?
Yes, it was. Yeah, it was that.
Yeah, the Game Boy Advance slot to put a Game Boy Advance thingy. What you did is you put in an extra controller which had your 4 bits on it, and then you strummed with your stylus.
Yes.
And it was sick.
That would, you know what? That was an accessory that shouldn't work, but it did.
It totally did. It totally did. It was Nintendo being Nintendo, and it actually just freaking worked. But yeah, sorry. Just slight.
No, that's fine.
Guitar Hero for me. I will say just quickly. Richie said Microsoft is still only the 3rd biggest gaming company by revenue, though. After this deal goes through, I would say that a mobile game would probably be first. Yeah, I do realise that they're obviously still not the bigs, because I think Tencent and then also Sony are still ahead of them. But I'm gonna
Roblox is up
this. I'm gonna analogize this to like Monopoly, right?
Yeah.
Are you, when you're playing Monopoly, more scared of the person that's got the odd hotel and has shit tons of money, or are you more worried that you're going to get hit constantly by the person who's not quite as rich, but has got houses on all their roads, their area colours? Do you know what I mean? Because like, I think it doesn't matter. I think it's more of a case of competition and variety and a lot of other things. So, as considering this is quite a kind of like, to use a big word, cornucopia of different style of gaming franchises and studios. It's kind of putting that all under one umbrella, which is great in some ways. And obviously, I know a lot of people are looking at this and thinking, "Wow, amazing! Think of all the stuff that's going to come to Game Pass." And it's just like, yeah, but there's Monopoly and there's competition, and then there's also just generally having the sweet variety of life of things being made by different companies that don't all think in the same way. Because as I work for somebody who is an amalgamation of many companies over many years, that is forced to work in a production pipeline which is not suited to our side of the business, which is constant pain. I'm just kind of like, I don't know, I'm projecting that onto what could possibly happen further on down the line for these different individual gaming studios.
Yeah,
so
I
less
could definitely
thinking about
see that.
me, I'm more thinking about them. And yeah, just generally like, we both love indies. I worry that the bigger the AAAs get, the less space there is for indies to flourish Or the minute an indie gets popular, it'll just get swallowed into the mass with everything else.
Oh, for certain. I mean, you just have to realize today there's been a bunch of games that have been indie titles that have been announced today. Their news has been swallowed. There's literally games that have launched on Game Pass today that has been swallowed. I know Not Tonight 2 was announced today.
Not Tonight is a
Swallowed.
great indie game.
Swallowed.
Yeah.
Fantastic indie title, but
they need to
most
relaunch
people
tomorrow.
probably don't know. Most people don't know. But that press stuff, well, obviously press stuff goes out in advance, and that was probably organized for a long time, and yeah, it's shadow in comparison to this. And is that a precedent to what's going forward? I don't know. I've always championed Microsoft when it comes to Game Pass because of the incentives that it brings.
It's a great service
to the gamer, but also to indie titles, and giving them a platform of a huge amount of players to be able to kind of discover their games. And I love that. I love that side of what Xbox and Microsoft specifically were doing with Game Pass, and obviously paying some developers for the exclusive to be on Game Pass day one for some of these indie titles. It was like there's so many indie games that me and you played, Mellie, or just discovered on Game Pass that we probably never would have discovered before if it hadn't been for that. So fantastic work there. But does this shadow that? Because I know 60 billion is a lot, and if I think about how many indie studios they could have helped fund to make amazing games, most of them probably would have been trash. But you know, there would have been at least 50 of them that could have been the next Among Us or the next Minecraft. Do you know what I mean? Rather than the next Call of Duty. So, I don't know. That's where my head's at. But let's read on. Let's read on real quick. As a team, we are on a mission to extend the joy and community of gaming to everyone on the planet. We know that gaming is the most vibrant and dynamic form of entertainment worldwide, and we experience the power of social connection and friendship that gaming makes possible. As we pursue that mission, it is incredibly exciting to announce that Microsoft has agreed to acquire Activision Blizzard. Over many decades, the studios and teams that make up Activision Blizzard have earned vast wellsprings of joy and respect from billions of people all over the world. We're incredibly excited to have the chance to work with amazing, talented, dedicated people across Activision Publishing, Blizzard Entertainment, Beanox, Demonware, Digital Legends, High Moon Studios, Infinity Ward, King, Major League Gaming, Radical Entertainment, Raven Software, Sledgehammer Games, Toys for Bob, Treyarch, and every team across Activision Blizzard. Massive. Until this transaction closes, however, Activision Blizzard and Microsoft Gaming will continue to operate independently. Once the deal is complete, the Activision Blizzard business will report to me as CEO, Microsoft Gaming. So, the first thing that gets me a bit about this is Activision Blizzard, particularly the head currently, Bobby Kotick, is going to continue to operate as he does. And this also says to me that he's going to get a nice little payday out of this.
He's going to get a fat wad of cash out of this. Quite frankly, we were talking about this in the WhatsApp during the day today, me, Inel, and Nims and Doobs. And I basically just typed in, what the actual hell is this? Why is he still there if they're going to? I have calmed down since then, and I've also read some stuff from the Wall Street Journal, so it's fine. But basically, I described myself as big mad. And I was, because I was just like, right, so all he's doing is, rather than getting the golden handshake, which he would have gone if he'd actually did the good thing and left after basically the years of systematic abuse and also the accusations towards himself that have happened at Activision Blizzard, he's basically gonna skate it out for another couple of years until this is finished, and then get a big ass bonus and then wander off into the sunset. And I actually said, cover your ears, children. Fuck capitalism. I hate this. I'm fed up of bad people not being punished, but just basically winning harder. How the hell does that work?
You can't win harder than this.
Oh. No.
You can't.
No.
And I'm with you there as well, Mellie. Particularly when I think about the workers especially those that kind of
They're
suffered.
still on a walkout.
Yeah.
Activision Blizzard and Raven Software, who mostly do QA testing for Call of Duty, because it popped up in my Twitter timeline. Somebody worked there. They're on like day 7 or day 8 of a walkout. Not necessarily because of the systematic abuse, but I think there's other things going on at the moment.
A number of different things are happening. Yeah.
It's either people losing their jobs with little to no notice, just management, like the whole place
crunch
needs to be burned and built from the bottom up, the top down. But either way, just basically like that's one hope I have, is that Microsoft will clean house. But what makes me worried is that who the workers that are still there are going to have to deal with whatever this management system is, that they're so happy that Bobby Kotick here has a clear vision. And what was it? What did the guy say? He said something like his dedication to obviously like bettering the company. And it's just like, no, you've been told to sit down, shut up, do what you're told until this deal is through, and then it's bye-bye. And I'm just like,
See, I'm annoyed with you in the same regard as well, because in a strange way, I feel like the company was probably worth a lot more. And because of the scandal going on, Microsoft got it cheaper than they probably would have done if it wasn't for the Activision's kind of terrible PR at the minute. Obviously, Activision still makes heaps and heaps of money. Like, I know Call of Duty Mobile makes over $1 billion a year, and the game's only been out like a couple of years, and and it's free to play. So like, I know they like generate money like crazy.
Microtransactions. I was about to say how, and I know it's
but like
microtransactions.
The cynical side of me thinks is like, is this the undervalued like Activision Blizzard, like $70 billion? Is that the cost of it after all the sexual allegations, the abuse, the crunch, the letting workers go even though you're having record profits? Is that what the value of the company is after all of that? It makes me see Microsoft in a different way than I did previously. I always held particularly Phil Spencer quite highly in my regard in terms of how he's maneuvered throughout Microsoft and Xbox the last I guess 10 years or so, and him being in the forefront of the public eye. This, I don't know, it feels a bit dirty. Because I know at one point he must have shook Bobby Kotick's hand, do you know, for this to go down. Do you know what I mean?
Would like to think is that basically, because what it does say further down in this press release, I'm sure Arnell's not going to read all of it, is that basically the board of directors for both Activision Blizzard and Microsoft are all unanimously in agreement for this to go for proceed. And I can just imagine that it's just kind of been to a case where they've basically gone, look, let's lay it on the line here. Your company is dying because you're too stubborn to make the changes that you need to do for your workforce. And within the industry, your name is beyond tarnished now. Like, if you want to do anything with a shred of decency, you accept this. We do it our way, and you walk away. And I'd like to think Phil Spencer didn't like this.
I hope so.
Face.
I hope so.
I'm sure there was smoozing and dinners and handshakes and laughing and whiskey. But
because I like the leadership team. Because I got the leadership team here up on the screen right here for Xbox. I like them. Like, most of them have been like forward facing in the company for many years. Particularly when it comes to like E3 presentations or Xbox events. A lot of, especially people like Sarah Bond and Matt Booty, like they've and Kareem as well, Chowdhury, like a lot of them have been like at the forefront, and it's great to see so many female leaderships as well within the Xbox team going forward. Like, that gives me some good hope that they're going to be able to clean up Activision, like give them a couple years, and hopefully we might see the right, like hopefully the toxic culture that started there will be fizzled out over the next decade. But I don't know, for some reason it doesn't give me hope that this is like a good example for the industry going forward. Does that make sense? Because like I felt like Activision Blizzard needed to get shut down in order to say, like, we don't stand for this sort of behavior in the gaming industry. But the fact is that even though there's such toxic behavior going on in the gaming industry, people can still go out super billionaires and there's no recourse. There's nothing to hold them accountable. Like, everything that's happened, it's been washed. It's like water off a duck's back. Do you get what I mean? And that's how it feels a bit.
That's what pisses me off. I mean, I think I'm more mad at the whole Bobby Kotick being there in the interim than the actual acquisition in the first place.
I think I'm with you there as well.
That was my knee-jerk reaction when I was reading through this and I saw that the CEO will remain, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
Are you actually having a bubble?
I would,
like,
if Microsoft said we're buying them and Kotick's out, I would have been like, yo, yes.
Yeah.
I'd be like, yeah,
really
go on, pay him off, get him out.
A whole board of directors at Activision Blizzard, and you've got Microsoft there, who are making a cash purchase, can I say? And it's stated in that press release, a cash purchase of nearly $70 billion. And they said, right, we'll get it. One condition, Bobby's out. You really telling me that a board of directors who are just looking at the bottom line are going to go, are we really going to stick with Bobby if we don't get our 70 mil? No, they're all going to go, fine, sell it. So I don't understand. I don't understand.
He's got something over him.
I've calmed down a bit since this afternoon. I mean, this week's just been wild. We've got freaking Nadine Dorries trying to freaking gut the BBC in the next 4 or 5 years, which set me into a freaking spiral. And my poor Discord just basically got me going,
who knows, Mellie? If we get a different government, maybe it might get reversed. Who knows? But if the current government persists.
Speaking of which, can I do a segue?
Yeah, sure.
New episode of Press X to Continue dropped on BBC Sounds today.
Hey!
Yes, the podcast, which is co-hosted by my lovely boyfriend.
Yeah,
please listen.
That's not going to be here in 7 years' time if they get their way.
I'm mad at the world this week. I don't know what's wrong with me, but yes. Basically,
there's a lot to be mad at. Capitalism has been a bit crazy at the minute.
Everybody just needs a slap. Just like,
But yes, what are your thoughts on Xbox's takeover, their acquiring of Activision Blizzard? Apologies if I haven't been checking the chat. I'm going to check some of your thoughts, but let me know in the chat so we can read some of them out, some opinions and stuff like that. Richie James says Activision own a lot of IP that have done FL for years, and MS now have a lot of studios that can resurrect some of them. That's very true. Do Activision have the... Who has the...
Viva Pinata!
No, that's Rare.
But Rare is owned by Microsoft now.
Oh, yeah. Well, they were owned by Microsoft when they made Viva Pinata.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, in that
they
case,
just
I
haven't
want
done
more
anything
Viva
for a long time. I doubt. Do they have the license for like Turok and stuff like that, or does someone else have that? For some reason, I feel like they have it, but they probably don't. Yeah, they've got a lot of studios, and a lot of their studios have been working on COD every year. I'm hoping that maybe we won't get COD every year. Maybe that might be a thing, because every year COD is a bit too much for me. It's a bit too much. And I know it's a lot for some people. Maybe, slow it down a bit. Maybe we might see some more original IPs come from some of these bigger titles. Maybe Toys for Bob might be able to make the stuff that they want to make.
Can they make a game called Toys for Bob by
Toys
for Bob? Because that sounds like an indie game I would play. What are we playing today, guys? We're playing Toys for Bob, where Bob is a bratty child and we have to create the ultimate toy for them. Like, yeah, I'm here.
Luna says there's always a risk that Microsoft won't be able to complete the deal. Someone may challenge it with monopoly laws, which is very true. The monopolizing of what they've been doing over the last couple of years of buying up pretty much the competition and getting them to kind of make exclusive games from. who knows? Maybe they might have to have a clause where they have to still kind of do multi-platinum titles for Activision titles. Maybe Call of Duty has to come to PlayStation in order to complete the deal. I don't know. It seems a bit that they're able to just go out there and just buy one of the biggest publishers out there. That's like Nintendo saying I'm buying EA. Do you know what I mean? It's that level of crazy.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
It's that level of crazy. But they've done it. They've done it. Call of Duty could be console exclusive. True. That's gonna cause a stir if it is, because I think for the last 10 years, Call of Duty has sold best on PlayStation by record numbers. So who knows?
We shall see.
So Sonny to buy Square Enix tomorrow then. Square Enix is small fry compared to it though. Square Enix is so small fry. It's small fry compared to Activision. Because not in terms of like the IP. Like Square Enix have got some fantastic properties. But in terms of the amount of money that like Activision makes from their properties, you heard Candy Crush makes nearly $1 billion a year. And that's a Candy Crush, which is basically Bejeweled with candy.
Yeah, with candy.
It's the same game. It's just candy. But the Bejeweled people are crying. If you made Bejeweled, you'd be crying at the success of Candy Crush, because it's all down to marketing. Because that's the only reason why Candy Crush was big. It's the same game.
Yeah,
it's just marketed really well.
Candy Crush apps and other apps, and I also think it's down to the time that Candy Crush launched. Because if you look back to obviously like the original iPhone, not even the iPhone 3G, which is the one that I started with. Actually, no, I think the App Store came with the iPhone 3G, if I remember rightly.
I think so, yeah.
The whole idea of having games like that on your phone was like wild. Like people were literally becoming like .com millionaires overnight because their game on the iPhone store, the App Store, just went.
Angry Birds. Look at it.
And we're
it's
talking
probably
like,
the first big success.
This dates me. I can remember when the App Store literally had 20 apps on it. That was it. You had 20 apps, and you had that beer.
And you had all of them.
You had the beer one. You had the koi pond where you could push all the little fish.
Oh yeah, the koi pond, yeah.
Yeah. So I generally feel like Candy Crush probably launched at a point where they felt that there was a real push in the market, and also bizarrely, like, and I know a lot of like kind of like strategy-based games do a lot of TV adverts, but I feel like Candy Crush is the first kind of like more generic kind of slide matchy game that really had a kind of properly pushed commercial marketing campaign.
Not only that, I also think it was Facebook and the rise of Facebook as well, because they were like, I remember when they introduced Facebook gaming, well, not Facebook gaming as we know it, but like games on Facebook, because Facebook was pretty much the early days of Facebook.
Oh, bloody Farmville! No one gives me friend requests.
Well, that's what I mean. Like the early days of Facebook was basically MySpace, because there was so many different third-party apps you could put on there. You could draw on people's walls, which was quite cool. I remember at one point you could do different drawings and things, and then Facebook literally gutted all of that, and then they made like a side section for apps. And so Facebook cleaned up the whole UI. They did like a whole rebrand, and they said, right, we've got Facebook apps. And with Facebook apps, there were like tons and tons of these mobile games that allowed you to kind of sync your data with on your phone with your Facebook profile, and you could like ask people for lives and things. And so like I was one of those people asking people for Candy Crush lives. If you run out of lives, ask your Facebook friends. And everyone would ask all their friends, and then some people would get annoyed by it, like Mellie, and other people would download the game.
Block you. Yeah, no.
They'd be like, "What's this game?"
Weekly said in chat, yeah, the guy who made the fart soundboard made millions on the App Store. And it's just like, could you imagine? I
don't remember that.
Hold on,
what was the fart soundboard?
It literally was a soundboard that made like there is something very similar. So look.
Oh, the drinking milk one.
Shake to refill.
Shake to refill. Come on. Come on.
This is free now, but back in the day, you used to have to pay for this. And somebody got hella rich. I swear to God.
How much did that cost, or was it just ads? Is it free?
And I do remember pre-mobile Flibble. I got my first phone when I was 13, 14. But yeah. Damn.
Candy Crush. People underestimate mobile gaming. Like, do not underestimate the power of mobile games. Mobile games are hella addictive. They worked out that model years ago. They're refining it now. Like, I went to check out some mobile games to see how they're doing. I played one, what was it called? Idle Railway. Something. I think it was called Idle Railway. It's a game that pretty much plays itself, hence in the name Idle. And, but yeah, it's addictive as hell. I was like, why have I been playing this for like a whole hour? It's like,
you think you're making progress? No, my mum's like that with the iPad games. Before she had an iPhone smartphone, she used to have my old iPad 2. She's got a more up-to-date one now. But she plays Animal Crossing Pocket Camp. She plays all those little mystery things and you earn gems. She never puts any money in. She just watches the ads because she's like, nope. But the fact is, I think as much as people can get very kind of locked into a certain form of entertainment, like people that watch Twitch will also watch YouTube, but they may not watch YouTube live streams. Or people who have iPhones don't want to go to Android and vice versa, or someone who's got a Switch or has always had Nintendo consoles wants to stick with Nintendo. I think if you're kind of like more into that casual gaming, which is very pick up, put down, which obviously mobile gaming gives you, and obviously I'd argue the Switch could too, then that's what you consume because that's what you're comfortable with and that's the medium you're used to getting it with. And people are very stuck in their ways.
They are.
Like my mum's, and obviously she still plays Candy Crush.
A lot of people stuck. I think that's what I said. Like, I think we underestimate the power of mobile gaming. I think there's way more mobile gamers than there are like people playing games on Steam.
So many. When you think how many mobile phones there are now.
Yeah. And I know PC's the master race, I know, but there's more of them than there are of you. It's crazy. I don't know where I'm a big, like, me and you, Mellie, are both huge indie fans. We're huge fans of like trying new games that are trying to tell stories from different perspectives with new gameplay elements that we don't necessarily get in the AAA titles. And me and you, I think both of us are quite open to trying new types of games.
I think there's games that I've definitely touched which I wouldn't have done before because they've come from an indie studio where they've had elements that I usually would have shied away from. May it be like JRPG or a really intense skill tree or crafting. And I'm not just talking like Animal Crossing, like making yourself a nice little bench. I'm talking about like you need to get this, this, and this to make health, or you need this, this, and this to eat. Like that sort of like mechanic in games. When I used to watch people play or playthroughs, I'd be just like, oh, this is really intricate. I don't think I could do this now. Whereas now I'm just like, yeah, crack on. Let's try everything.
Yeah, try it. Hey, I love that side. And I'm hoping Microsoft and particularly Xbox Gaming don't forget that side with all these huge acquisitions and of like these huge developers and publishers. I'm hoping they keep that the Xbox ID stuff still going. I'm hoping that they continue to kind of push Game Pass, particularly showcasing indie titles on there. I'm hoping they put their money where their mouth is and they start to help fund some of these indie developers create projects rather than them having to resort to Patreons and Kickstarters and Indiegogos. I'm hoping that Microsoft steps in and say, okay, how about use some money? I know a lot of people that don't like EA, but like I can't fault their EA Originals initiative in which they fund like development of a game 100%, but then they also let the developers keep 100% of the profits. That's how we saw Hazel Light Studio come about, and that's how we got games like A Way Out and It Takes Two. And arguably, It Takes Two is a lot of people's game of the year of 2021.
It's a great game.
And that wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for like initiatives like that. As much as I know a lot of people, they don't like EA, like we wouldn't have seen those games if it weren't for that. So I'm hoping we'll see some more initiatives like that come about. I would have been a lot more excited about the prospect of these big acquisitions if those were in tandem with initiatives like this. But who knows? We shall see what the future brings. And also solidarity to the workers at Activision Blizzard, especially those that are still protesting and are still on strike and still kind of fighting for better working conditions at their workplaces. I'm sure this news probably would have been a shock to them as well. I don't think they probably would have found out in advance. They probably would have found out at the same time as us as well, maybe a couple of hours before. So Lordy. Hey, hearts out to them. Hopefully, like I think the best thing. I think what I'm personally waiting to hear is how they feel about this and how the changes will be implemented for them in a positive way. And then I think that might sway my mind in terms of seeing this as a really good thing rather than me being, oh, I'm not too sure. But with Bobby still being there, it doesn't seem too great.
It is hard to get hyped when you go past the whole, hey, this will be amazing for everything Microsoft can offer. And then you actually boil it down to the brass tacks of the people and the management and what's already been going on. But yeah, Hex said something in chat, which I thought was really funny.
What's that?
Charlie Brooker once argued that the biggest video game in the world is Twitter. I think he makes a great point, in which case I think I'm playing on easy because I don't really appear to be going anywhere, but I do have a sense of progression.
What's the progression? Followers?
Just finding stuff I actually like and want to interact with, which, to be honest, is more than most social media networks that I'm on do, apart from TikTok. But that's only because TikTok can read my mind.
Oh, TikTok's like a game that plays itself.
Oh, which is terrifying.
TikTok could play even if you're not there.
It's like, what would you like to see today, Mel? Do you want to see footage of Tim Curry dressed as the clown from It having a fag break under an umbrella?